Welcome to What's Your Passion? We have a special fun show today regarding horses. And Carla's been doing this a long time, but I'm not going to stand here and talk about it. We want to meet her horses and Carla. So let's go. I'll tell you, it is a beautiful day out here, and we are going to talk about what Carla's passion is. And I have this lasso around my neck. Bought this in Texas, and I even got some cowboy boots on. But our special stars, but they're not going to be able to talk, are right behind us. Let's just look once. Let's do an introduction, and actually, Carla, let's introduce yourself and the special guest.
Well, hi, Becky. Thank you for being here. You'll find besides you have my main horse, that's Moon Pie. His registered name is VF1 Smooth Moon. And then this is my backup horse in training. His name is Monkey. Also, his registered name is LD Fast Leroy. And Moon Pie is 17 and Monkey is 8.
I was just going to ask you, how old are they?
They're both registered quarter horses, and I've had Moon Pie since 2006, and Monkey has been here for 4 years.
And how is that going?
The training of the new horse?
Yes.
Challenging. Some days it's very rewarding, other days it's very humbling.
Monkey, you know we're talking about you, don't you?
He does.
He is acting that way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Has he been on camera before?
Not that he's aware of.
Well, now, this has been your passion for a long time. When did you start riding horses?
I started riding when I was 5, and I had a little pony named Patches. I'm pretty sure every time I rode Patches I fell off, so it was quite an educational experience for me, but I was determined to keep riding all the time. So me and Patches worked out our troubles, and I moved on to a little bigger horse that was a little more advanced for me, and I would always see my neighbors going to a competition on Tuesday nights. And I kept asking my mom and dad if I could go, but they were like, well, no, we don't have a trailer, and no, we don't have time. And I was always very envious of my classmates and my neighbors for being able to go to this competition. So my parents surprised me. They bought a homemade 2-horse trailer, and I took my step-up horse. Her name was Wildfire. She was a quarter horse Arabian cross. And I got to start competing when I was 8 years old.
That is really young, my goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Where would you go, and what kind of competition would you go to?
So I would go to Mondovi, to an arena called Midnight Rider Saddle Club, and they did all the gymkhana events such as jumping figure 8 and pole bending, barrel racing, speed dash, and the key race. So it was 5 events, and it was held every Tuesday night, 12 weeks throughout the summer.
So did you do that? Were you there every week?
Every week that I could possibly get there. And it was tough because my parents were farmers, and they didn't always have time to take me, and so I would sometimes try to sneak a ride with one of the neighbors if my parents couldn't take me. And I lived for Tuesday night. And then I practiced about 3 hours every day, or so it seemed like. In between helping Dad with chores and doing other chores for Mom, I would keep practicing my horse Wildfire so that we could get better and be more competitive.
And how did that go for you?
It went really good. I was really excited. I was in 4th grade and I won my first trophy, and I just thought that that was the greatest day of my life.
Oh my goodness sakes, and we don't have to talk about how old you are now, but you started so young. Have you ever quit not doing this kind of thing?
No, I've competed every year since I was 8. I'm 45 now, so I don't mind you asking, and I don't mind telling. So it's been a long journey for me. I've had some really good horses, and I've had some really what's a good word for it? Challenging horses. Some that not every horse fits every rider. And I've learned so much, and I've learned so much from my horses over time. I competed all the way through high school, basically on a small level. And then as I got older and I was able to acquire my own things, my own truck and my own trailer, then I started to branch out a little bit more. And then that's when I was able and lucky enough to find Moon Pie, and just so blessed to have such a wonderful horse.
So how long have you had Moon Pie? Moon Pie, do you know we're talking about you?
2006.
2006.
Yeah. I had been to a clinic, a barrel racing clinic, and the gal that owned him was at the same clinic with him. And I remember watching him thinking, oh, if only I could have a horse like Moon Pie. Well, a year or so later, I got a call and I was told that Moon Pie was for sale. And I was
elated,
like, jumped out of my chair. And I'm like, when can I try him? I was so excited. And boy, I tell you what, we had some really rocky days. He's been an honest, good, faithful horse. He loves his job, but we struggled for a long time getting our timing together. Moon Pie had been to a lot of rodeos. I had not been to a lot of rodeos. He had seen a lot of countryside, and so when I got him, I had high hopes that I was just going to step on and pick up where the other gal left off. And it wasn't anything like that. No, it was really tough, but I loved him so much that I would never have thought of giving up on him.
And it's that perseverance, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
That has, you guys have done wonderful things together.
We had
Where have you been?
We had a solid 5 years of getting each other figured out. And one day when it's just like everything clicked, from that day forward, I never looked back with him. And I started going to bigger competitions and sticking my neck out there into maybe bigger and tougher and more challenging. In 2014, I made a very big push for our circuit finals, the Great Lakes Circuit Finals. It's a rodeo circuit that I belong to, and I compete in the women's barrel racing. And I made a strong, hard push that year for qualifying for circuit finals, which is all based on your money earned for the year. So I went to 24 professional rodeos between New York and Nebraska.
Oh my, that is, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was around 14,000 miles that year that we put on, and I was very fortunate that Moon Pie was allowing me to go, allowing me to see a lot of countryside by paying his way to keep us on the road. So it's challenging because I work full time and I have other things to take care of in life. I'm married. You know, it's nice to be home to see my husband, and he's very supportive and has, you know, wanted me to go and compete and do. And I fell just short of making circuit finals that year by $1,000. I tipped 3 barrels that were very, very costly, that had I kept them up, I would have maybe placed, and it wasn't meant to be.
So you've talked a lot about Moon Pie and that relationship. What about Monkey back here?
I know, Monkey's been a tough sell for me. I pretty much at any given day would have given him away to anybody walking by and stuck the lead rope in their hand. Everything with Moon Pie, once him and I figured things out, even though we did not always have our timing down and we struggled, it was still easy to ride him. And he always we flowed well together. It was just like polishing, trying to get down. When I compete, everything goes to 1,000th of a second. So it's hard to imagine or comprehend 1,000th of a second. I can't demonstrate that for you. So when I started riding Monkey, I had high hopes that he's coming with good bloodlines. He's coming from a very reputable farm that raised him. He's gonna be my next, yeah. And I was just troubled. I didn't know what to do. We didn't click. I didn't like him. I didn't want him.
That's so horrible. That must have been awful.
But I kept thinking in the back of my mind, if I can just get him figured out, I'm going to like him. And I sold him. I sold him to a friend of mine.
Oh.
And she's ended up calling me and saying, something doesn't seem right with him. Can you take him back? So I took him back, and he was miserable at her place. Okay? She fed him. She fed him. She took good care of him. He had everything he could ever want, but he was not happy. So I reached out to a friend of mine that does like rehabilitation work. I said, something's not quite right with Monkey. Can you help me figure him out? Well, she helped me kind of get him dialed in, and she was struggling as I was. Like Moon Pie, everything with him is very natural. Monkey, it took a little more like repeating the lesson, and once we got it, we were making progress. And I said, I'm just not in love with this horse. My heart does not belong to this horse. So she said, well, I know the perfect person that he will fit. So I sold him. The gal wrote him. She calls me and she said, Carla, I don't know. He's just not happy.
Oh, no.
Seriously. I don't want this horse back. We don't click. I want another Moon Pie.
Yep.
So I get Monkey back for the third time.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Right. And I just made up my mind that I have to give him a chance. I have to try. I have to see what it is that
he knows you're talking about.
He wants to come back here. And when I decided that he's going to be here, and I started to ride him confidently and riding him like I liked him and giving him a chance, we just started to mesh and things started to happen. And now he's running a couple tenths behind Moon Pie.
Oh boy.
So he's showing me and giving me every reason to believe that all those things that have led up to this point have been meant to be, and he's meant to stay here.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
So your relationship is very different.
Oh, yes. Now I'm like, I actually was approached to sell him at a show a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And I said, I'm sorry, he's not for sale. So how funny is that?
Oh, that's it. You guys are connected.
But if you're wondering how Monkey got his name, it's kind of a fun story. So I brought him home, a horse with no name. The people raise a lot of foals and sell them. I buy him. He's known as the bay horse. That's
the bay horse.
That's his color. A brown horse, black mane, black tail, black legs.
Okay.
That's a bay horse.
Okay.
Okay, that's their color.
Got it.
He's quarter horse, but bay is his color. So I bring him home, and Moon Pie's not always really excited about other horses in the pasture with him. He's kind of just okay just to be the boss. Doesn't necessarily need other horses with him in the pasture. Wants to see them, but we don't need to be friends.
Oh.
So I put Monkey in with a couple of other young horses. And Monkey stood at the fence and stared at Moon Pie. He didn't want to go eat. He didn't want to go drink. He just stood there longingly looking at Moon Pie. And I'm like, if I put you with him, you might be sorry. He might show you who's the boss. And Monkey just stood there staring, staring, staring. And I kept thinking, what's a good name for him? And I was trying all these names through my head, and I don't know. I couldn't come up with anything. So I thought, what am I out? I'm going to try it. I opened the gate, let him out. He followed Moon Pie around.
Oh.
Everywhere Moon Pie went, he went. And it became very clear to me that he was monkey see, monkey do.
Oh,
So therefore,
that's where it
that's
came
how he
from.
got his name. If Moon Pie went to the pasture, he went to the pasture. If Moon Pie went to get a drink, he went to get a drink. Poor guy, he just had to figure it out on his own.
Had it.
And Moon Pie has absolutely loved him. And Monkey, in return, they're just the best of friends. They get along, there's no fighting, they love each other. It's a happy world for me when horses get along.
Yes, because
Yes.
that would be quite challenging.
It's
to have
difficult.
horses. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you have been to so many places. How do you take your horses? What do they go in? Can you show us a trailer, what you use?
Sure.
Well, here's the trailer now. Where have you been in this? We talked about it briefly, like, how about just this last year? Where have you been?
I went to, I think, 15 rodeos this summer and a bunch of different barrel races, and it's really been fun. We pulled a really nice check in Merrill, Wisconsin this summer, and it was my first rodeo out. I'd been to a couple warm-up barrel races, and Moon Pie went in and laid down a run like none other, and I was so not expecting that. When I got to the arena, it was different than it has been every other year that we've been there, and it was very big and it was very deep, and I felt like I had really barked up the wrong tree by being there.
Oh,
So he went in, makes a run. I've got 70 other girls to run yet, and we ended up placing second.
oh, wow.
So
Congratulations.
thank you. To be the reserve at that rodeo was crazy. Like I could have never imagined. So I decided, well, obviously I was thinking he's 17, maybe he's ready to retire a little bit. Just pick and choose, and I can start putting more pressure on Monkey. Have him get out there and start getting the experience and going more. Well, Moon Pie goes out, lays down a run like that, shows me that he's not ready to hang it up yet. He loves his job. He absolutely loves his job. He gets very excited, very on the muscle. He sees the arena, he sees the barrels. He's ready to go.
He's ready.
You better be ready.
Yeah, and we have some footage of that too.
Yeah.
So tell us what happens. I mean, how many people usually are doing this, and what's the whole process?
The rodeos are a woman's barrel race. You have to be 18 to enter, and you pay an entry fee to ride at the rodeo, and the entry fee is usually based on how much money is added, which sounds kind of crazy, but the more money added, the higher your entry fee. So it varies. I think the least amount of entries we had at a rodeo this summer was 35. And the most that I was at was, I went to Sikeston, Missouri, and there was 120 entered there.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I spend a lot of time pacing in my kitchen and flipping coins. Heads I go, tails I stay. Because I always sometimes feel like it's out of my league. I'm branching out to bigger and more and harder competitions. And I just sometimes feel like I'm out of my league. Like I can't compete at this level.
So what turns that around?
Well,
what changes your mind?
I tell you what, like I said, I'm very blessed to have Moon Pie. And he has made me believe that anything is achievable if you really put hard work into it and you really believe in what you're doing. We went 10 hours to Sikeston, Missouri. I left home that morning at 5 a.m. I drove to Deerfield, Wisconsin. Another girl and I trailered together down to Missouri. We got there at 4 p.m. after we had been lost in St. Louis.
That's a trick, St. Louis.
I toured St. Louis with a truck and trailer downtown by the stadium during the middle of the afternoon. It was people everywhere. I was white knuckled on the steering wheel. We pull into Sykeston at 4 p.m. We're set to ride at 6. So I don't have a lot of time for them to relax and rest before we got to run.
Oh dear.
So it was
Oh my.
ride, and we cooled them out, watered them, gave them a little rest time, and we were back on the road by 7:30 heading for home.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
It's a quick turnaround, it sounds like.
I don't ever stay anywhere long. I get there, I ride, and I leave. That's the rodeo life. You're never at one place very long.
And it has to be challenging because look at, you have this trailer and you have to have a big truck and everything that gets involved in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There is. And what's important to me is the horse comfort. Make sure that they're comfortable. Like when they're traveling, I keep their legs wrapped. I keep, for longer rides, anything over, say 2 to 3 hours, I keep special boots on their feet. They're called soft ride boots. You just slip it on their hoof and they're velcroed on, and it offers like another cushion support while they're riding in the trailer because they're positioned in a stall so they can't move around.
I suppose.
Yep, and they have hay in front of them. I always keep hay in front of them the entire time they're traveling.
Is it air conditioned?
No, but my windows do open. Like
Oh, that helps
the
a
two
lot.
windows here drop down, as you can see, and then they've got head
wondered
windows
about
that
that.
also drop down. So when it's hot, they've got good ventilation going through for them.
And you're driving fast enough, I'm sure.
Yeah,
That could be a little challenging.
just within the speed limit. That's all. Yes.
Well, if you have to get to these certain destinations, it's really something, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and it's
The
all
time.
good. It's all good until you have a flat tire, which you learn how to change tires really quick when you have a flat on the interstate. And you do what you got to do.
keep going.
And you got to get going.
Oh,
So
wow.
on my way to Merrill that night, I had a flat tire just outside of Oliva.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
weren't far from home
No,
then at all.
20 some miles from home, and I have a flat tire already. And it's almost 100 degrees that day.
Oh, great.
Storms are predicted that night. You know, all these things are stacking up against me. I was sweating like crazy in many ways, trying to get things going so that I'm not late getting there. Because I like to give them a couple hours when I get to the rodeo. I like them to have like 2 to 3 hours of just time to just relax before the rodeo starts. And then typically we're about an hour and a half in to the performance because there's other events at the rodeo besides the women's barrel racing.
You must be meeting an awful lot of different people if you're traveling these distances.
Oh, for sure. But you know, typically at the rodeos we run against kind of the same group of people
Oh, I see.
that travel that same circuit.
Okay.
Because we're all chasing that same dream.
The same thing.
Yes, correct.
Well, now, I know you do the barrel racing. Is there any other kind of racing that you do, or is that barrel racing?
Just the barrel racing.
Yes.
It's a cloverleaf pattern. You have the option when you come up to your barrels, you can either do a right and 2 lefts, or you can do a left and 2 right turns. Depends on which way your horse maybe works better.
Shaped in a clover leaf,
yes,
I take it.
correct.
And that's why they call it that.
Yep, and a tipped barrel, like so if you knock a barrel over, it's a 5-second penalty, which when you go down to the 1,000th of a second,
Oh, yeah.
5 seconds is
That's
just
a lot.
forget it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You would need everybody to tip a barrel to maybe make it competitive at that point.
But that typically doesn't happen, does it?
No, but
But-
you know, you've got to be close to be fast. You can't be a mile away from your barrel. You want to be really nice, close, tight turns and keep them moving the whole way through your turn.
Now, I know that we have some footage that people are watching as we're talking about this, but I'm not seeing it right now. Do you have a saddle on and all that when you're doing this?
Correct, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you have certain bits, like I have a bit
I wondered
on the
about
bridle
that.
that I ride him in when I'm warming him up.
Okay.
And then I have another bridle that I use for my competition. So,
okay,
yeah.
switching things out,
Right.
and then you were talking about all the different foot types of things that you're using.
Yep, and I keep a leg gear on to keep their legs protected, as you can see in the video. That just, like when they're running, sometimes they want to, depends on what the conditions are, if you're in deep or slippery, that, you know, they might overreach and hit their, like the back of their front foot with their back foot.
Oh, that'd be easy to do.
So you keep
probably.
protective gear on them to keep them safe during the runs.
Now, the other thing, are most of these inside, but there's some outside too, isn't there?
99% of our runs are outside.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
not
we
very
get
many inside.
very few inside.
Weather is a big factor, isn't it?
So I've lost a few barrel races just to place because the conditions change.
I'm sure.
When I went to New York 2 years ago, it rained for 5 days straight
Oh no.
prior to the start of the rodeo.
Oh dear.
They hadn't worked the arena. I get there, it's just this grass, weedy patch. And I'm thinking, seriously, I drove 15 hours for this. And I don't know what it's gonna be like. So they somewhat scratched it up and dug it up, and it was a mess. And it stopped raining right before the rodeo started. Moon Pie went in and he gave me everything he had. It was a beautiful run. We left there winning the rodeo.
Oh my goodness.
Right, so I was really excited. But keep in mind, it had rained for 5 days up to that point.
Oh.
Then it didn't rain anymore. And they had 5 performances.
Oh.
I rode on Wednesday and it finished up on Saturday night. So the ground got faster because it was drying out.
I was
But
going to
that's-
ask you the difference
But
with the ground.
that's just the challenges you face. I mean, it might be to your favor sometime too, where you go somewhere and you get the good ground and then it rains for every day after that. Sometimes that happens. So we ended up still placing at that rodeo, but the ground got faster that instead of winning it, we ended up getting 7th place.
Oh my.
Yep, and I was only out by 2/10, but 2/10 is everything.
That's what you're saying.
In
It's
this sport.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's an electric eye that you cross. So, you know, when their nose crosses, it starts the timer, and same thing when you come back, it shuts the timer off.
Oh my.
But you want nice tight barrels, you want straight lines. An extra step around a barrel could be 3/10. Ouch. It's very costly.
I bet it is.
Yeah, a wrong step is usually the difference between getting a check and not getting a check.
Yeah. And when you've driven how many miles? And
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yes,
but
I bet.
the love for it, you know, keeps you going.
It's wonderful. And
Yeah.
you've been doing it a long, long time.
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness sakes.
Yeah, it's in my blood.
You'd be
and
lost without it, wouldn't you?
For sure. And I've really felt that I'd be lost without Moon Pie. Like for a long time, I felt like
Kind of ignored you, Moon Pie, back here.
if I didn't have him,
We kind of-
that I maybe didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh.
That's how much. I mean, I love that horse. He's
And
just
Monkey has really done had a lot of progress
Yeah.
with all the challenges.
and he's got big shoes to fill, literally. But he's really given me the hope and the belief that he's going to do it. So my goal now for the summer has been for Monkey to outrun Moon Pie,
Aha.
and he's knocking on the door.
Oh,
so
it's getting close. Is it
so
getting close?
It is. So now I've got this little personal challenge between the two horses for the young guy to outshine the big guy.
Oh, the big guy.
Yep.
The more mature one.
Yes.
What did you say?
Yes. And everybody knows Moon Pie. Everybody.
Oh.
Like he's kind of his own little star in the horse world. Everybody's like they love
there's
Moon Pie. Yeah.
There's Moon Pie.
And what's really fun is I take him to the rodeos, compete at all levels against the toughest of competition. Like when I went to Sykeston, there are girls there that will be at the National Finals Rodeo.
Oh, goodness sakes.
Right, so I was like, seriously, Carla, I don't really know what you're thinking.
That's when you're questioning,
Right?
out of my league, out of my league.
Yeah.
But you did it and you've done great.
But I can bring him home and I can put some young kids on and give lessons off of him.
That's the other question I was going to ask. So you do the racing, but you also do lessons.
Yes, yep.
So are you adding more people to do lessons? If there's someone out there listening, they might go, oh, I know my granddaughter would really like to
Well, I've
learn how to.
I've had a wide range of ages of students that I've had.
age?
This summer I had anywhere from 6 years old to I had an adult gal that was my age that wanted to learn how to ride.
It's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
So you're open.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, everybody needs to start somewhere. And if I can share anything that I've learned along the way, I never had any formal training, but I have a lot of good connections, and as time went on and I wanted to learn more, I'm always there to be a sponge and listen to somebody and take a clinic or go take advice from somebody else. And if I don't know, I ask.
You ask. That's so good.
I think about horses that I had in my past. You know, when I was in my late teen years, I had a really amazing horse that I never thought I could have one better than him. And his name was Gamer. And if I could have had him now, I think about how much maybe more we could have been together, because I didn't know then what I know now, and things I could have done for him to help him or make him faster. Geez, you know, it's a learning progress. You're never too old to learn.
Never.
Yeah.
I think Monkey is really a ham.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. And
You know, he's got quite the personality.
And the best part about him is when I got him, I brought him out to the trailer. I bought him sight unseen. So I was going totally off of a resume for him that he was going to be something. Yeah, he was something, all right. I brought him out of the stall. I tied him at the trailer. I brushed him. I put the pad on, walked behind him to go get the saddle, and he kicked me.
No.
5 minutes into the time that I have had him in my possession.
Oh, dear.
So we didn't start off on the
No, it
greatest
doesn't
note.
sound good. No,
No.
you don't
And
usually. That is not appropriate.
Kind of had just went downhill from there. But for a horse that had no personality, he was scared of everything. Moonpie has been the best mentor, and he's built confidence, and he's built my confidence, and he's given me hope to know that, you know what?
Don't give up.
There are more rodeos after Moonpie.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if we could see inside the trailer and
Absolutely.
where they stay at night. Are they
Sure.
outside a lot during the day, or are they generally inside? I wondered about that.
They have a pasture, a 2-acre pasture that they have. They have shelter that they have free choice to go in and out of. They have a heated drinker for the winter. They have free choice hay during the winter, but I rarely keep them in a stall.
Okay,
I prefer that they get to just be horses.
Fresh, yeah.
You know, in
Outside.
clement weather conditions, I might move them in for a day or a night. You know, if it's icy, ice is my biggest battle. I just fear ice, that they're gonna fall and break a leg.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm constantly chasing them around in the winter with ashes, trying to keep the ice under control, because ashes are a good source
Yes.
of
Yes.
on the ice. But otherwise, the rest of the time, they're on their own. They get to be horses.
wondered
I
about
keep
that.
them comfortable. I offer them everything that they need. You know, fly protection in the summer. They have shade if they need it. I hang fans if it's really hot and humid. So they have options.
They're well taken care of. I would
try.
say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hate to say they're spoiled, but maybe a little.
Well, the wind has died down a little bit. I don't know. It's because we're in here. Oh, it feels good to have my sunglasses off.
Right?
Yeah, really. Wow. Now you get both horses in here.
Yep.
So are they side by side? How does that work?
So typically I put Moonpie in first. I like him to load in the middle stall. It's a 3-horse, so I could actually haul 3 horses.
Okay.
But I use the first stall, and you can see it's divided off there as like my storage area. So I haul my hay there, my buckets, my grain, shavings. This is
'Cause
like
you have that shavings
this is your
there.
shavings here. I keep a bedding, because obviously, you know, they're in the trailer for a long time, so you want to absorb any of the wet from the urine so it's
sure.
not slippery when you're going down the road or making turns. You know, not everything's just a smooth straight highway.
Yeah.
And so then Moonpie would go in first, and then I would shut the divider, and then
Okay,
Yep.
I see how that
Yep,
works.
this divider
'cause this
shuts
just
here.
comes here.
correct, and then Monkey would ride in the back, and then I've got a bar here that goes behind him, and then that gets fastened, and then I shut the door and lock that.
It isn't that wide of a space in here,
No.
which is surprising.
Yeah, they're comfortable, but they don't have room they can't turn around. Once they're in their divider, they're in there.
And they are okay with that. I
Oh,
take
for
it
sure.
They've gotten used to it.
Yeah, yep.
And it must make them feel more secure.
I think so, yeah. You know, and they've got a nice matted floor that they ride in, and like I said, the shavings, I keep hay hanging in front of them, so they're comfortable.
Eating all the time.
Correct, yep. And on long trips, you would stop and offer them water. So they should be very comfortable when they're in there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And then over behind you, you
Yeah.
have.
This is
what an assortment.
Right. Well,
Yes.
you have to pretty much pack for everything because you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. Like, so I got my saddles. Monkey has his own saddle. Moon Pie has his own saddle. They're obviously you can see they're built very different. And so what fits Moon Pie doesn't fit Monkey, and vice versa.
How do you get it fitted correctly? Do you go somewhere specifically where you buy these? And
Typically, you know, you might want to talk to a saddle maker that you are comfortable working with and have them help you get it fitted. And you kind of know over time, you know, like what you need to do so your saddle fits good. If it's pinching their shoulders, they're not going to be able to be real fluid in their turns. So you want them to be able to always have that movement and range of motion.
Okay.
So different pads for different saddles, for different horses. Trust me, I've been.
Oh my.
It's a
Oh
learning
my.
curve, and I've been to the school of hard knocks on all of this stuff.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of saddle makers around?
I couldn't even possibly tell you. Hundreds, probably.
Hundreds, really?
Yeah. Mhm.
It's that popular
Oh,
with
for
the
sure.
horses around.
Yeah,
I
yep.
guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so yeah, like Monkey uses a different bit than on his bridle than Moon Pie uses, and I mean.
Yeah, you were talking about that and how you switch them out.
Yeah, and the only
depending on
thing
what they're doing.
the only thing I could use the same between the two horses is leg gear. Otherwise, everything between them is different.
Do you have a sample of what one of those leg gears look like? I just thought if you had it here, because I was trying to visualize that a little bit.
Oh, sure. Well, maybe I don't have anything out here. I think I just washed everything, so
Oh, well, and
it's
it's very organized.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all of these.
Yeah, these are like bridles. So this is going to be something I'm going to use on Monkey. And then Moon Pie is going to use something that's got a little bit of a nose band on it. So you've got.
And why is that he would have that instead of?
That was my secret. That's what I found.
Oh.
That's what I found when I needed to get everything polished up. It all come down to the bridle. That was my saving grace, and it was this silly bridle that I borrowed from a friend.
And tried it out.
And it was just like magic. It was the greatest thing ever.
Now, it sounds to me that the horses, they're shaped differently, of
Yes.
course, but their preferences are different too,
Oh,
aren't
for
they?
sure. Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And
It's very technical, really.
you know, you would think it's 3 barrels. How hard can it be? It is so technical. It is more than I could have ever
It's
imagined.
surprising.
Yeah. And when you're, competing at the level of 1,000th of a second, you are looking for everything to shave it down.
I bet you are. And boy, the bridles. But then the saddles too.
Right?
Yeah.
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 So I use different things for them also. Like when I'm trailering them, I might put on this is a magnetic blanket. So it might help with their, like if they have any sore muscles. Yep. And
So all these individual patches
Yep. Are
magnets.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I hate to say if they make it for a horse, I might have it, but it's maybe true.
Well, do you use that once in a while if you get sore? Does
No.
it really work?
I've had people tell me that they've had other injuries and that they've wrapped up in their magnetic blanket and loved it.
Really?
Yeah. hmm
So, well, it's more technical with that.
I don't
but
know.
It has to do with the pull of the different
Not sure.
parts of your body
Yeah.
or something.
Not sure my husband would be really thrilled with me wrapping up with a blanket that smells like a horse in bed at night.
I don't think I would like it either.
He does ask me though what I could possibly do in the barn for so many hours.
Well, that is the question.
I know, right?
I mean, I was thinking when you were talking about, and if it's icy, I'm out here putting down ash, and it's like, oh, what's the average amount of hours? Like you're doing something in the morning and night with your horses.
Correct. Yep.
Every day.
Yeah.
And then when you're home, it's during the day.
Yep.
So what's the average number of hours?
I'm sure I'm out there a couple hours a day. You know, when you're riding, and if I've got lessons or I had a training horse in, so man, like there's not enough hours in the day for everything, so you try to make the best use of it you can. Then you're, you know, like now this time of the year, you're fighting the daylight.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
changing now, I know when we were by the horses and it's really quite warm today.
Yeah.
Is that hard on them?
Oh, for sure. You know, those colder days, you know, colder nights, they start growing their winter hair.
Oh, okay.
Then we get 70, near 80 degrees. They're sweating. They don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do with all this hair? So, you know, it all balances out. I don't blanket my horses in the winter. A lot of people like to keep blankets on. I like them to build their own coat so
They can take care of themselves.
absolutely. Yep.
It's a real natural thing when you think about any animals
Yep.
that are out. And you like them outside a lot. You said that earlier.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of comical, you know, in the hot days in the summer when you think they would be outside, they are tucked in the shed in the corner, in their lean-to. When it's, you know, 20 below and the wind's blowing, they might be standing outside with their butt to the wind.
What is
Like,
that all about?
Go inside.
I know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but they know what feels good to them, so
They're in charge. I mean, they have options. They can be inside. They can be outside.
so they can go out.
Yes.
That'd be something fun to see. Let's go look at
Sure.
that barn.
All
That'd
right.
be wonderful.
All right.
Love to see their home. All right, Carla. You know, the nameplates. Their names aren't on there.
I know. It took me too long to decide if he was staying, so I didn't put it on there.
Oh, is that why? Why is the other one named
No.
here? No, neither one of them.
I'm
See,
just
that was
kidding.
an excuse.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
this is really nice. Now,
Yeah.
this used to be a milk barn, did it not?
Yeah, a lot of work was done in this barn. My husband did all the work making all the stalls, so they're all custom made, and he put countless hours in here to getting it set up for me so that I had somewhere to keep the horses if I needed to, or if I need a hospital pen if someone's hurt or injured, or you know, if I was boarding some horses for somebody, I have options to be able to put them inside.
Do you do that sometimes? Board some horses?
Very,
or-
very limited, but I have done it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I know you'd asked about the leg gear. So,
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the leg gear that I use. These are called bell boots. So they
Bell
go,
boots.
Yep, they go around.
it.
They go around their hoof, and it's a Velcro attachment, as you can see. I guess I don't need two of them. So it's Velcro. It's pretty sticky, so you just wrap it around their hoof and fasten it closed. That way it prevents them from overreaching with their back foot and hitting the back of their front foot.
Okay.
Yep. And
So now would they have those on during the competition? Is that what you're saying?
correct. Yep.
Okay.
And like Monkey, a lot of times I leave these on in the pasture as well, so that he doesn't tear one of his shoes off. But when he's out goofing around with Moon Pie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They probably get into a little trouble once in a while.
Oh, they like to have fun. Kids will be
Well,
kids.
that's good.
Yes, for sure. And then these are the other leg wraps that I use, and you wrap them just above where the bell boot ends,
Okay.
and then protect the upper part of their leg. And they're splint boots, so basically you're holding all the tendons and everything in place when you're competing. A lot of torque going on around the
Oh,
turns.
I bet.
Yeah. So this is my leg gear that I use.
My
Yeah.
goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Well, and this is so nice to get in and the horses in and out of here.
Oh, yeah.
It's on a roller.
Yes, correct. It's on a track that you'll see, and it's nice because, you know, I open the door, they know, I whistle to them, they come on the run. Doesn't matter who comes in first, they each know where their stall is,
Oh, I
and they don't go
suppose.
in each other's. And one time, Monkey thought he should be in Moon Pie stall until Moon Pie got there. So he left.
He left.
He left. Went in his own stall.
Well, maybe there was some food left in one of them too. I
Oh,
can
funny
see
that
them
you say that
stealing
though. That is so
food.
funny. So
Yeah.
then when I let them out at night after they've had their grain, because I put them in every day for their grain, And when I open the doors, I open Moon Pie's door, he goes outside. I open Monkey's door, he comes out, and then he goes in Moon Pie's stall to see if there's anything left.
I bet. Just to finish up
Right?
the leftovers. Yeah.
And he'll
Gotta eat it.
lick the bottom of the pan a couple times just to be sure.
And they have been so good. Don't you have some treats in your pocket?
I do. Usually you don't want them to know you've got them, otherwise
Because they're digging in your pocket.
they're pestering you to get them, yes.
I bet.
So it'd be kind of a fun treat for you to be able to feed them a treat.
Yes.
Here, let me.
Okay. And then they can't eat grass and pull me around by their
The secret now is to keep your fingers flat.
keep fingers flat.
Okay,
Oh,
keep your
because
hand
they'll
flat.
bite your-
Otherwise, he
Okay,
might try to take your
let's try
fingers with
that.
it.
Oh, look at that. He loves that. Oh, he wants more though.
Of course, yeah.
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 But it's like 2 each.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Well,
Okay.
sometimes they
Oh,
get
look at these
sometimes
two,
they
look
each
at-
get a handful.
Oh, so, okay, Moon Pie.
Depending
There you go.
depending on how good they've been.
They've been awfully good, Carla.
Yeah.
Very well behaved. You can tell you spend a lot of time.
I do.
Well, this has been delightful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
I en-
all your time and energy on this and your 2 horses.
Enjoy being able to tell you my story about my passion.
Yes.
It's been a lifelong passion, and I would be honored to be able to share this story with anybody.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Becky.
You bet. Until next time, we'll see you again. Oh. Okay.
Do you want me to take them?
I think I'm all right.
Okay. I'm rolling anytime.
Okay. Okay, we probably should do that.
Oh.
This would be like a blooper.
He's eating.